Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Dimir Eerie, or as we like to call it, just an enchantment deck. The Eerie mechanic is really just on this tracker alone now, but outside of that, our primary focus on the deck is play a ton of enchantments, get a lot of value off of it, and then slowly grind out the game that way. So we did play the Esper version that was playing the Pixie in it. This is typically like a Pixie deck, which had a whole sideboard. I talked about, well, it was a really good foundation for Dimir, and I wanted to see what we could kind of pull off with Dimir, as it was kind of one of my more favorite decks before Foundations came out, and I've found it hard to play after that. But yeah, so main focus, like Hopeless Nightmare, Bandit's Talent, a lot of good discard effects here that we can then pick back up with a Fear of Isolation, because this is on cast. You have to pick up a permanent you control as an additional casting cost. So it could be these, or you can use them as fodder with this talent ain't big enough. We know how good this synergy is when it comes to a Stormchaser's talent. Whenever you play the kind of Simic or Esper or Bant version of the kind of Tolarian Terror deck with up to Beanstalk. But here, it's just good enough whenever you're doing a Hopeless Nightmare as well. So you kind of like play this, you make them discard a card. They play a threat, you make them pick that threat back up on their turn, and then you get the Hopeless Nightmare them again. So I did add in extra Tinybones in here to make sure that this play was kind of viable. Having a lot of 1-drops to make this town actually a good card on turn 2 to make sure that we're there. Unlike some of our other 2-mana spells where it's kind of like oftentimes they might be dead, or you might not play them because you don't get value off of them. But we did stick primarily to that Esper build for the most part. I didn't want to just cut everything. I tried Hurkyl in here because this is a card I played in Commander a ton. I wanted to try it out. Not going to come up too often outside of game 1, but basically if you cast a spell of a type, so like an enchantment for example in our deck, on our end step we look at the top 5. Every card that fits a type that we've cast you can grab, but you can only grab one of each. So if we cast an artifact, an enchantment, and we look at the top 5, say there's 2 enchantments and 1 artifact, we can pick one of the 2 enchantments or one and the artifact as well, so we get 2 cards out of it. Kind of just wanted to see how well it was. Truly, just replace it with an entity tracker. Tracker's better in the deck. I talk about it a bit more in the outro if you want to know my full thoughts. But yeah, this is the start build for this. I asked the other day about making decks and then kind of updating them almost immediately and kind of uploading and see like, here's the changes we made from yesterday. So we're probably going to do that with this. So most likely today's video will be this. Tomorrow's video will be an update of this. So if you're kind of interested on the actual changes we do, be on the lookout for that, and we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. But overall, deck did well. I liked it. I do think we have some changes to make, but let's go see how the games play outside of maybe game 1. I might not have played the cleanest of all time because I kind of did the thing where I was like, oh yeah, the game's over, and then I just stopped playing well. It's fine. We still get it. Spoiler warning. But oh boy, am I going to make someone upset. But yeah, if y'all enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. I'm having fun playing Magic as of right now. I'm not running in the mono red gauntlet all day. So yeah, it's definitely been a good time. So let's go game. Let's go see how well it does. I didn't even know you could get that as like a character. But yeah, our hand's really good. We'll keep this. Kind of have everything we're asking for out of a hand like this. We'll go for Tinybones Joins Up. I mean, I guess so, right? Definitely worth doing this, and if they like play a permanent next turn, we can then this town ain't big enough, pick that up, bounce our thing, and we see mono red. We definitely have an option. Have we just gone back to playing Phoenix Chick and stuff? I guess this is the second time I've seen a Phoenix Chick come out. And it's weird. It's interesting, but like it's just weird. Like what a mix-up of cards to play. An absolute like guarantee you were going to see this quite a while ago. Now all of a sudden it's just back. Like why? Why are you back? Go home. Leave me alone. I'm sick of you. This little pelican, dude. I can't, man. But Phoenix team. Phoenix and Modern though, huh? Kind of a crazy experience. Might as well get value off this, no? Just like kind of time walk them a bit. Pick this back up, make them question everything that they've ever done. I get hit for 1. Bad about it, but that's okay. Combat. Can't really block right now, so I might as well attack. I have to use these nowhere to runs to be pretty effective anyway. Everheart Challenger, obviously a very annoying card overall. They're missing a land drop. We're gonna make our stuff a little bit harder to play around. You're good. Yeah. Land will play. Hurkyl actually might be what the doctor ordered. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Might be exactly what I'm looking for. I just buy back this town ain't big enough. What do they do? Play another slick shot? We just get hit for a bit? That gives me way more spells? I guess so. I mean, I guess they could play land and maybe play like a 3-drop that's really devastating. Yeah, like there's a code breaker, sure. Like I'll take 2 life to set this turn up more than anything. Here's now my 2/4. That's really good. I guess target you. Then I could just hit him with the nowhere to run now, but I think this is definitely the time where I wait a turn. Obviously, this triggers on our end step, which is the only downside to it. But when we bounce this Tinybones Joins Up with this town ain't big enough, I think we're going to get to see the value that we have here. Sure. Let's just time walk that real quick. Can't imagine that 3-2 swings. They already played a land for turn, so Hurkyl's free to like block or whatever. But I think this is definitely the epitome of where we might find some value. Target you, of course. See what they end up discarding. Do our Nashi here. Just an extra blocker. Do a little bit of extra damage here. Go into combat. Here. Circle is just going to be enough to hold back the fort. Here. Yes. Sure. Like play the arrest forge, I suppose. Grab this. Rest go on the bottom. Unfortunately, there goes the Kaito down there. Now we have our Overlord ready to go. Second Urbrass Forge, or Urbrass Forge played for the second time. And now it's just like, do this. It's okay. Here. Enchantment creature. Second enchantment. Prowess. Target for discard. And just like that, we've kind of set everything up. Although this has been like, oh my boy, my hair is just like wherever it wants to be, huh? This has been like a long-winded way to like get a win, I guess. It feels interesting. Another Witchstalker Frenzy. A lot of attack here. With another this town ain't big enough, I'm more than happy to just like keep it going. Keep it moving. We're going to pick up one. Might as well pick up a second one. We can end the turn here. This will now trigger 4 lands and a tracker, sure. That triggers off this and this. A non-creature. If you've cast a non... it should count, I believe. The second Urbrass Forge is not going to do it, I don't think. We have what? 1, 2... We just wait. We just take the damage, I guess. I could have blocked, but I don't think it matters. At least it shouldn't matter. What? 1, 2. So let's do this and this. Prowess. Prowess. Make them discard. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's actually short a little. Ooh. Oh, I guess I could have just cast that and made him take nothing, right? Well, if I'm gonna punt in the sun, I guess I should just hold and hope I don't die. Never mind, we're fine. Oh, we're not fine now because I didn't attack. Okay, yep, I'm gonna throw up. It's okay, team. It's fine. Leave me alone. Turn up to one target creature to its owner. It's up to. I don't have to target. Okay. I for some reason thought I had to target, but no, I don't. Enchantment. It's definitely that one. Doesn't really matter. Hurkyl gets to choose. Play that game a little loose, but kind of just thought I had lethal. Didn't realize I was going to end up one short or be an idiot and not just do it in like 4 different ways. But you know. Oh boy, going first, and this is our hand, huh? No, why not? Sure. Let's just play our surveil land, make sure there's not maybe another land on top, and this town ain't big enough. It's a pretty good card. A spot like this. Well, now we don't know what's going on, so we'll just play a Tinybones. We'll target them. We'll force them to tell us, you know? Ooh, creatures that grow bigger than my nowheres and run can remove. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I could, like, a little part of me wants to set up this because then they can't, like, fight it, you know? So let's go for it. Obviously, this could be fought and beat up and bullied and kind of kicked around, things like that. But we'll see. Another one. Okay. Sick. Our play this turn's actually going to be really, really nice. That's Menace. Not a ton of value here, and they keep a creature back. Okay. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So, nowhere to run. This one. Then just do the other one. Maybe it'll just, like, not let the trigger happen. Like, it can happen and just, like, takes them off the stack so we don't have to, like, go through the targeting process. So we'll know where to run. Grab that enchantment. We're ready to cook. We're ready to clean. Ready to do whatever needs to be done. Sharp Eye Rookie. Get out of here. We got you at home. Not really, actually, but play this. Card they know about. We'll attack. Does have Menace. Don't have to fudge too hard here. Nothing there. Lands get kind of bend. We play Hopeless Nightmare. We know none of the cards in their hand are lands, nor that they will be lands, you know? So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. This investigates on attack, right? Sure. Might look to bounce the Sharp-Eyed Rookie, picking up another card. If not, we'll just kill it here. Yeah. So we block here. Town ain't big enough here to here. So now then that trades off. We walk them back. Obviously the land's not being hit is definitely just devastating overall for them. Creature nothing up to 4. We could Tinybones. We could buy back a spell. Let's just hit their hand as hard as we can at this point. And then I will play a Hopeless Nightmare and I'll just level up his Bandit's talent. Just a lot of cheap nonsense going on, that's for sure. Also, Tyvar does not work because Hexproof does not work with nowhere to run. Definitely a tough one overall. Definitely one of the ones that feels the worst to kind of play / win in a situation like this. Just feel like, you know, really nothing they can do. Take 2 of these enchantments, play a land, just hard cast this for now. Just put like a lot of pressure on the board. Grab a Kaito, be able to stun something down. Obviously I could have grabbed something else, but Kaito is obviously way more devastating. 4/5 with reach, and that does suck because that is one of the creatures going to be incredibly hard for us to remove. Like Balemurk is definitely a card that we have to just bounce and kind of go about that route. We don't have a ton of stock outlets in this deck. I'm just more or less focused on fighting it or beating it with Overlord or using this to kind of weasel by any big threats. Right now, I don't have like a great way to answer things like that. Even though that is a 3-mana 4/5, like we should be able to remove it. But if it can't die to nowhere to run, we probably can't kill it. Wow. Don't think we can keep that. I will keep. So many 3-drops. This is good with this, and this is really good with this, so it probably has to be this. Because, like, this does just draw us cards and replace stuff. Okay. Stormchaser talent. Because we have something to play here. Okay. Yes. Not seen him play Skrell very often, but card that they can play. Expert from that color. Well, if we can find a nowhere to run, this doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know. We'll see. Sure. Yeah. Nothing. Okay. Floodpits. Are you here? You're gonna protect that? Fantastic. That is pretty fine by me overall. Now we have an interesting choice to make. I know I say that quite often, but I think the sentiment's still true. Can't block. Most likely will not block. Here.
I've always got it. Don't worry, Pom Pom Chan. I've got this.
Stun this down. Now they'll either have to answer my Kaito, which saves us obviously a lot of damage from our Chrome Dome. But then if we do ever find nowhere to run, I feel like we can answer everything that's going on really, really easily. But still have to find it, right? Double strike, maybe give it trample. The monster trade or something. And if all that gets used on Kaito, then like we're just happy about it, right? Just give it trample, okay. Another protection spell used on that. Alright. Kaito still lived. Okay. So, I like Kaito didn't die to that. Alright. Yes, sir. Very cool. Alright, we can definitely keep this for sure. Turn 1, maybe turn 2. Maybe turn 2, use this turn 3, picking this back up, or establish a creature. We never really know in a lot of these spots. Patchwork Bestie, we have Delirium online. Obviously I could play a Surveillant, but I have too many plays between here and there that I don't think that's a good idea. Patchwork, Innkeepers, makes sense. Innkeeper very good. Patchwork gonna be great. Fear of missing out a card we have to deal with. Now I will say, I will put this on the record. I don't think a card I necessarily have to deal with is going to be a Galta. I could be wrong. 100,000%. But I don't think so. Unless somebody's cooking up something spicy. Fear of missing out. This now discards. They obviously could play protection spells. Royal treatment, any type of protection overall. Bestie beatdown, of course. Totally makes sense. Like, why would you not play that? You know what I mean? But here's the thing with nowhere to run. Don't necessarily have to worry too much. Let's play a Surveil land. Stormchaser's talent can just go for now, I guess. I'll just hold here. We'll see what's up. Again, hexproof, all that does not work with a nowhere to run and play. So we're just fine chilling here. They go for something like a monstrous rage or a protection spell, or there's a couple of ones that have like a delirium type effect on it that is like I can't remember. It's like give it haste and something else. I don't know what it's called. I mean, that card's pretty decent. So do want to answer the fear of missing out more than the Patchwork Bestie, and they could play this again. So we just bounce the fear. The fear of missing out is obviously the more like devastating card overall, but like I think here we just wait. Yeah, see, now they can't play it. It could give it haste. I would love to play a Kaito here. Maybe I'd do it anyway. No. I think we do this route. I think we go for a nowhere to run. Targeting that. Casting this. Taking this back up. And then we're kind of just sitting here. And then we can just like attack with Fear of Isolation or the token. Put in the Kaito. Maybe look to surveil with some protection up. Especially if we draw an untapped land here. Weirdly enough, even though we do play like fewer lands than like... You don't want to find a ton of lands, but sometimes still land can be your best draw based on how your hands curve out. For example, we have 2 Kaitos in the deck. Not very often we want to hit like 5 lands, right? But it happens, you know? Sometimes you have to. Beat down Bestie, Bestie beat down. The beats. Yeah, and it gets counters. So this is going to be a lot of damage. And those counters are permanent, so... The trample is going to make that not matter too much. I can bounce it with Bottomless Pit, nowhere to run, and then go that route. Or I can Kaito stun that. This could potentially attack. Has to be an attacking creature? Okay. That's not how that's gonna work. That's gonna work really, really bad for me. Yeah. And jutsu this out. And then we're just going to go for a... We're just gonna stun this down for a turn or two. 1 turn to be exact. Maybe they'll have another haster. Maybe they'll be able to bring up the land and kill our Kaito. Not entirely sure. There's a Screaming Nemesis, so sure. Guess Kaito's down for the count. I was just trying to get it set up so maybe we can get some draws. Kind of feel like this game is slipping away a bit, obviously. I think that's not too hard to recognize here. And there's that land that could have made everything easier. Well, I still tap for a turn. Nowhere to run. Here. Non-land permanents. Okay. Here. Go. Will they set up a fear? Not entirely sure. Or not a fear. Will they beat up a fear with the Bestie beatdown? Far hitting some pretty solid cards overall. We go for a second Screaming Nemesis. It's 3 damage we have to allow. But obviously there's no reason in blocking this. For the most part. I prefer not to just take damage for free. Do you have another beatdown? No, fear missing out. Okay. Alright, well, team, we're gonna have to figure some stuff out. Nowhere to run. Has to answer the Nemesis. We can bounce the Wildfire. The 4/3 though. And then we can Floodpits. Blasting. Okay. I think we got it. So we know where here. We remove the Screaming Nemesis. So that worst case scenario, this can block something. And we pit. We pit. The Wildfire. Then we pass. Just struggling to figure out our plan a bit. Sure. Yeah, I thought that was copy number 3. Okay. Okay. Wow. Just so frustrating. It has to be the. Rather have to let. No, it has to be Nemesis. It could have been the fear of missing out, I guess. But I think they're obviously, I think they're untapping that, and I just do this. Leaves me taking 2 damage, which isn't great, but I don't feel like a lot of what I got going on is great. Bro, I have no idea. Too many haste creatures. I can't figure it out. Unlearned permanence. Unlucky. Oh man, so brutal. Another creature, okay. Here, I guess. In here? Wow, I would love, like, at some point to have found, like, discard outlets. Because they just keep playing haste creatures. I mean, we are fighting for our life here. In turn. A lot of ways to bounce, cycle, and go through and go over everything here. I'm at 6, though. We're at the Floodpits, the Nemesis, or this land. I'll allow it. Sword run. This. Play the Drowner on that, which feels incredibly weird. You can float a mana response. Target creature with stun counter is gone, but that's not how our card works, unfortunately. I can buy back. The mana doesn't work super well. I could do that, but that's just an awful plan. I mean, what's the odds, right? I mean, probably really, really, really high. This is a tough spot to be in. Am I supposed to buy at this town big enough, I guess? Or hold up my... I should probably hold up my removal, right? Huh. Sure, in turn, dude. I don't know. Yep. What? Taxman, I feel like you're taxing me to my max, brother. I'm not gonna lie. A second one? Oh. Third one. Third one, you say? You have like a royal treatment now to give this thing like one counter? No? Okay. Wow. I am having a good time. What about you guys? Huh? Thoughts? Go ahead, dude. Oh, there's a seed of hope. Yeah. Playing that though shuts the land off maybe because they discarded a land the turn before. They're opting for the land. Okay. I don't get a super great chance to respond here. If they, I would say, if you try to beat down the Drowner, it doesn't work. I don't know if that was their plan or what. Pest prevent. I'm in like super prevent defense, bro. There's just not a ton I can do. There's a Bandit's talent. At least I finally hit a card that can like interact with their hand a bit. One, two, three, four. Puff. Tough. Land. Now they can play. Can attack me with the land. Will they do it right though? There they go. Okay. They did do it right at least. Obviously for the 400th time that I've played this card. Down to 3 we go. And with that, team, we fall victim to our own device. Yep, I don't think there's a thing I can do. Unlucky, man. Just so much pressure and aggression, and just like haste creature and a haste creature and a haste creature just made that so hard to win. And then also like us not having any discard outlets when we play like 8ish or so. Like if we had any of these and we were forcing them to discard and they weren't able to just play every single card from their hand, like look how many lands they have. Like, we also have a lot too, 39, 33 cards they dug through. And just like, I mean, that's a lot of spells too. But either way, we lose and that's okay. All right, we go first. Very cool hand. We'll keep. Maybe we can get a tracker online. Tracker would have been another card last game if we could have found. Obviously, I don't have two. Even Hurkyl, like the amount of times we cast spells, we just had to generate some amount of card advantage. We just weren't able to do that. But here we can play a shore, we can play a talent, and then we can look to bounce some nonsense. And then on that turn 3, we can look to flash in the tracker, play another talent back out, draw a card, and then kind of look to go that cycle with the game. Of course, we have to play one to get this town big enough going. Land, otter, go. Land thing that makes otter go. This is probably Boros Burn if I had to guess. Typically what it ends up falling into the line of. I could force them to reset that turn, this for a turn. But with Burn, it's a little interesting because their creatures obviously get way better. So here I think we just pass. We see what's up. Because we might see a situation where they play a 2-drop, they attack, then I look to this talent, the Stormchaser's talent, and then block the Hired Claw. typically the burn decks are not going to have a ton of like spot up removal. Second higher claw, sure. Will you be willing to do double damage here? They will. Totally makes sense. But in this case, we definitely get a free removal spell here. And our Otter being able to block, honestly, one of the best parts about playing the Stormchaser's talent that I've kind of gathered over my time playing it recently. Now, obviously, we wait. They obviously play hasty creatures. Now, 3 mana up. They've seen this town ain't big enough. They might be curious on what we're on overall. But we're definitely flashing in this tracker. Playing a talent for turn. See what we draw. Nowhere to run would be best. I would assume this is the burn version of the deck, not auras. And there's Screaming Nemesis. Sure. That can happen. Flash this. Before I draw, I'm going to play a Surveil land. Use it kind of as a draw spell. Bottomless pool is cool enough, I think. We'll do this. We'll take a card draw. And then I'll go ahead and pull it. And we're just going to like try to turn on the clock ourselves. Tell you to pick that back up, please. Overlord, and we'll do a 5 here. And with kind of the pace that we have on board, especially with 2 prowess creatures, I mean, we have Stormchaser's talent, play, draw, fear, pick up talent, play, back down, bounce again. Like, especially here, like 100%. Just take the 3, go down to 12. Sit in a pretty good spot. I could just perma-stun it, but that doesn't necessarily feel great. Go away, please. We'll play another Stormchaser's talent. Go up. Take a card draw. Floodpits is actually good here. Actually might even be better than prioritizing this isolation and going with that. So I'm going to prioritize that actually. And turn. They've tapped out every turn so far, so it does feel like if there was a protection spell in the works that we'd know about it by now. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Thing's locked up. Now they can burn it, start shooting some stuff. 3. Higher claw. Okay, interesting. If I go Kaito, I hit prowess for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I can tap this down. Let's do Tinybones. There's a pause, so they might have removal. So we do have to be actually more careful than I want to necessarily be. Most likely there's just a shock sitting here. I guess I can even get more prowess up by playing this fear, picking up the pool, bouncing that way, and not have to necessarily do the Kaito plan. 1, 2, 1. Kaito wouldn't be cheap enough, I guess. You. Monster straight, sure. Alright, well, I mean, if I'm going to get extra prowess for free, then sure. Here comes a fear. Pick this back up. Take another card draw. Could also be a Witch Stalker friendly, but I'm going to have that covered by a landslide. Play a land. Play this. Make you discard again. And then the bottomless pool will be picking up the higher claw. Good game overall. Definitely a tough one. I really did think that there was a chance we lost there. Thankfully, we were able to tap the Screaming Nemesis. I guess we were going to probably stun it, I suppose. Can Bolt Wave go? No, it is just each opponent. It's good because it doesn't target. It just says each. So, like, a commander, for example, this is 1 mana, deal 9 if you have 3 other people in your pod. But Yeah, come away with the win. Opponents first. Well, like a weird hand, right? Probably not a good sign that every single time I see a hand, I'm like, well, it's kind of a weird hand though, right? Oh, with this, definitely going to play the Stormchaser's talent. Get a token in the way. I'll trade it all day. I don't care. And then we can go for the Verge, go for the Nowhere to Run. Look at kind of things like that. We just have pure cats. A deck I do think overall I can outvalue. Unless they do that against me, bruh. Let us see. Let us see. Let us see. Everybody calm down. Let us see. Maybe they'll play the Lord, and then we can do some shenanigans with our 1/1. Right? So they'll play the Lord. I don't think the Lord buffs itself, obviously. It'll make another cat, which is tough. Hey, now that's rude. I didn't lay down arms your creature. I am going to hit it with a Nowhere to Run though. We could do some tongue-in-cheek stuff here, I guess. Get value off this guy. Huh? You can gain a little bit of life for now. Floodpits come in. We tap this so it can't attack us next turn. We just trade this off. This 1/1, I would assume that at some point in our video game career we can answer that. I could be wrong. I have no idea. Do this. That's an expensive card. They didn't play the Lord. They opted for a laydown arms, so I'm gonna play a Nashi and hope they don't have another laydown arms. Definitely get laydown arms in a deck like this. Of course, there's the Lord. I'm only taking 2. It's fine. Everything's fine. Relax. Okay. All right. Lands are being hit. That's for sure. Okay. She most likely won't hit here, but I can cast that next turn. Attack. Elect to be rude. Okay. Not actually. I'm trolling, obviously, but definitely grab that. We're going to have to cast it next turn. And I can shrink this board, take like 5. We're not really going to go for another Lord, I can't imagine. Remove. I just thought attacking with this made a ton of sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I will attack with it again. Maybe. It blocked the first time. Okay. Nowhere to Run answers? Tough. So here's this. This? This one? Because I could play it and I could draw a ton. Sure, dude. I'll take the clean pickup then. Not attacking with the Lord there, I do think to some extent is a mistake, but I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. I can attack with mine because I get a creature that taps. So first of all, play this. Let's play a tracker here. Let's absorb this last card from their hand. Let's just take it. It's another Lord. Of course it is. Alright. Nice. Do I attack and I pick up the thing, or do I hold back the 5/5? And weirdly enough, I think holding the 5/5 is better now that I have this town ain't big enough. With this card in hand and an entity tracker online, I do feel like my chances of losing have kind of gone away. I hope they have, you know. Let's just bounce this thing. I'd much rather keep the Lord in play so I can target it and remove it. Yeah, now we got stuff going. Coming away with that game is kind of crazy because I really do feel like there was a lot of pressure that could have happened. And the only reason for the Lord not attacking that I didn't like is because, for example, whether they drew it or not, they had another one to play immediately. And I minimum would be at 4 here, which makes like playing it again a lot more appealing. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't remember exactly how the turns curved out. But Mono White Cats with laydown arms, definitely a good card. I don't know if I'm playing Mono White if Secluded Courtyard is needed, unless there's a green creature we haven't saw. But this could be Cavern. Secluded Courtyard seems a little weird, especially when you're playing a card that relies on the planes that you're playing, right? Because now, like, this is at 5, so even if they drew a planes off the top, if this is a laydown arms, they can't get rid of this. But it is what it is. We'll call it a day there. Alright, everyone, here we are. This is what I end up playing. This is where I was at. I talked about playing something like this whenever we played the Esper version with the Pixie, and this is what I end up settling on for now. I do think a couple of changes immediately I'd make. Hurkyl is now out of the deck and just to load up on the tracker, and Kaito might go to a 1-of. Although Kaito is incredible, it might just strictly be better than this, but the problem is we don't have the creatures to support it really. But with that said, maybe we do a Stormchaser's talent. I don't think there was ever a point I had a Kaito where I was like, no, I can't do anything with that. The main thing that we have problems with, and it's the main thing we've had problems with in the past, is we can typically stall for a while, but without an engine online, like a tracker, that we just can't keep up. And I think I really realized that when it came to the Gruul game and immediately the game after against aggro, where tracker was drawing me a ton of cards. It's just having flash and all this other nonsense. I mean, enchantment, like all these draw cards off tracker. Now, I played Hurkyl just because I play Commander and I enjoy the card, so I definitely wanted to try it. Not by any means recommending that this card was necessarily that good. I was like, if there's a deck that it might be fine in, it's probably the deck where we play a lot of discard effects and just getting to naturally play it out into the world and hope it's good. This would be it. Still wasn't it. So, unfortunately, I do think this has to go overall. I'd just play more trackers, and I'd probably maybe even played like one less Overlord or something. Bandit's talent I'm on 2 of. Maybe we need to be playing more of these. Without Kaitos, you probably go down on the Drowner, but the Drowner feels good. Now would maybe go 3-3 split here. I don't know. There's definitely a deck that's always had kind of the flex in it, where it's like we know kind of a foundation for the deck. There's just a lot of cards in here that don't necessarily fit the description. The other big thing, as you could probably tell, is like I didn't play any hard removal spells just because oftentimes we can kind of drain the opponent out by using a Bandit's talent or Hopeless Nightmares by flickering them over and over again, and then getting in for a little bit of damage at some point because they won't have any hand size. But we didn't have like a great way to answer a lot of big creatures without just stunning them down with the Floodpits Drowner and then like tapping it, making them shuffled away, or kind of permanently tapping it with Kaito, or just bouncing it and kind of like getting in for lethal while they have to keep recasting this creature that we also keep tapping back down. Because one of the best things you could do is with the Drowner, tap it. It's tapped for like the 2 turns. We go to combat, and then as soon as it gets untapped, we can then bounce it with this town ain't big enough and the Drowner back. So other than that, I think the deck was pretty fun, pretty solid. Definitely feel free to make a lot of changes. You could put the man land in here as well. Maybe there's too many basics, but the man land being tapped has always been kind of a struggle in this type of deck when you're prioritizing 1 and 2 drops. If you have to play tap land on turn 1, turn 2, most time I feel like you're losing. But another card I do think is good but feels weak to an extent because we don't play enough threats is this card. Like if this card sticks and lands, it's incredible because every time it hits, you're just like, oh, I can draw 2 cards, maybe draw 3 cards, draw none, this gets bigger. And then sometimes you play it on turn 2 and they cut down it and you're like, well, okay. Like, I like my flash creatures. Like, I don't know if Fairy Mastermind wouldn't be better here, or even in a deck like this, playing Unholy Annex. I know everybody kind of shuts their ears off when they hear that card now, but playing an Unholy Annex in a deck like this, also good, because if worst case scenario, we have a ton of ways to pick it back up, and we don't necessarily have to let it kill us, right? Like, we can just draw extra cards for free instead of kind of taking extra steps to get there. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.